home. Keep your eyes wide shut, I really cannot stress enough that she'll turn you on the stone. She give good loving, she got all that.
Hi and welcome to this latest episode of MetalTalk TV, and I am absolutely delighted that joining us today is the frontman of the fabulous British rock band Inglorious. It's Nathan James. Hi Nathan, how are you doing?
I am so good, Liz. It's so good to see your face and your snazzy beret.
Yeah, that's right, thank you. It's roots. It's roots. I shouldn't really admit to that, but it's all about being honest these days, isn't it? So it's great to see you, and you've brought the sparkle with the amazing lights too. So
yes, and also roots as well.
oh yeah, they look okay. They look okay. Call it balayage. See?
Okay.
Anyway, let's just get straight on. Inglorious have got a new album, We Will Ride. It's coming out on the 12th of February, which as we're recording is about 4 weeks away. And tell me all about that. You said that you were very proud of it. And what do you want to say about it?
I want to say that it's a miracle that we managed to get this album done, given what happened last year.
Yeah.
That's what I'm most proud of, is we kept originally pushing the album date back and back to record, and I thought we're never going to get this done. And then the restrictions kind of loosened off enough for us to travel for work to get it done. And yeah, 14 days I think we spent on it. And it just sounds amazing. I'm so thrilled that we managed to get this album done, and with all the restrictions that were in place, it's a bit of a miracle. So yeah, I'm really thrilled to get it out there.
Yeah. So I mean, I've given it a few listens to, and I'm just absolutely blown away. I mean, having just really heard and loved the previous, 3 albums, we're thinking, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to do something different? And there's some real wow moments on that. And I think what's probably noticeable is the fact that it is the first time that you've worked with a producer, but more than that, you've gone away from your usual MO of tracking everything live, and you've gone into more of the tracking. So how did that come about? Was that deliberate decision, or did you do that as a way of adapting to the current circumstances?
It was kind of how our producer Romesh worked. Obviously, we, up until this point, had only ever kind of tracked live with my vocals going on afterwards and some guitar solos and piano, etc. But I think for that more kind of modern sound, which is what we really wanted for this record, and the reason why we were paying Romesh to make it, was to give him the rein to bring his speciality to our sound. And by doing that and having that separation between the instruments, we were able to create such a bigger sound, because for the first time ever on an Inglorious album, instead of just hearing 2 guitars at one time, you're hearing like up to 15, 16 guitars, so everything sounds and feels bigger. There's so much more going on. And yeah, I'm so happy that I used to meet Romesh at like really drunk at rock events and award shows, I used to meet him like absolutely like at like 2 a.m. we could hardly speak, and he was like, I really want to work with you guys. So I was like, I really want to work with you. And then it was just so good to make it finally happen. And I just think he's brought something to this album that's so special and so unique in comparison to our last 3.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's points of it. It's epic. It almost verges on the symphonic. On some points of it, it just builds and builds and builds. And I mean, and noticeably as well, we're hearing more of the lower range in your vocals that are coming out. More than we've got the full range. We've got all the belting that we know and love, and we've got all of the richness and the emotion. But it's just really opened up, I think. So I think that was it sounds like that was a decision that really paid off.
Yeah.
Did it
I think
change the
so.
approach in your in the songwriting, the putting the songs together this time round, as well as the recording methods?
Well, obviously this time around I was writing with 3 new people, right? So at first I was a bit tentative because I was so used to writing with the past members that I didn't know quite how it was going to work, and you never know what it's going to be like until you get into that writing situation, because people can be so precious over songs that they think are great, and then they bring them into a meeting and you go, oh, I don't know if I like it, and then they're heartbroken because they spent 2 months on the demo and all this stuff. So I was a bit worried, but as soon as we had the first kind of writing session where we were all together, and as soon as I kept hearing little riffs appear on tour, so Dan would play a riff in soundcheck and I'd go, that's awesome. And he was like, oh yeah, it's just something I've been working on for, and I was like, okay, well, that actually made it to the album. That's a song called Do You Like It? He played that in soundcheck. And I was on tour in like Paris, like 2019, and now here it is on an album. So yeah, it was a weird situation. I tried to do it kind of how I always have, in that I think you create different sounding songs by different groups of people making them. So writing it all as a 5 doesn't always work for us. I think it's too many cooks. It's just too many opinions. When you've got 2 people, 3 people, 4, it works much better. And therefore you get variety within the sounds and within the writing styles, which makes a nice album that has those high and low moments and has those different kind of feels and different grooves, etc. So that's why I do it that way. And this time, which was really new for me, was that previously I would always write my lyrics after that stage. So we'd get together and write the music, then I'd go away and I'd sit there in my room with my headphones in, and I'd write the lyrics and write the melody. This time I was so happy writing with the boys that I was writing in the room with them. So I was just in such a good headspace, and I was really enjoying what we were writing and enjoying the experience. Yeah, it was nice. Everyone was enthusiastic. Everyone was pulling their weight. Everyone was driven, and we all had the same goal, which was really cool. It was a really nice feeling.
Brilliant. And we're not just talking about light poppy run-of-the-mill stuff here. I mean, lyrically and thematically, I mean, there's some heavy stuff going on there that I've noticed as well. So that's something that you would definitely have to be comfortable to really go for it. But it's but yeah, I think there's definitely an awful lot to get your teeth into, I think, on this. Was again, was that something that you tried to write in a more deeper way, or was that circumstance as well?
I think it's a bit of circumstance with what's been going on, obviously. The pandemic and the last kind of 2 years of the band. I knew the weight on myself, and the boys knew it on them, on this 4th album, because we are aware that people will be looking at us and will want to try and find maybe a fault with something to do with it. But I think the album speaks for itself. I think anyone that listens to this album is going to get that same feeling they did when they heard our previous albums, or even more so. So hopefully, it was a dark time to write, and I had obviously a lot in me to write. I've been through a real roller coaster over the last 2 years. That's not a secret. And had some real lows, but also some amazing highs. And you think of the festivals we played, Grass Pop main stage, with like just the incredible gigs that we did. So yeah, a lot to write about. And I was so inspired by Netflix this time, because all we did last year was watch Netflix. So I became obsessed with like serial killer documentaries. And there's a song called Messiah, which is actually going to be the 3rd single. And that song was inspired by the TV series Messiah that was on Netflix, which I just loved. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah.
About the God complex, and then about Cruel Intentions was written about a serial killer, very famous serial killer, and I used quotes in that song that were actually read out at his last hearing when he was sentenced. So it's all it is deep and it's really dark, but I try and hope, I don't want to upset anyone when they're listening to
No, there's definitely joy in there too. It is. It's just a fantastically meaty album to get your teeth into and to go along, for the ride. So it's definitely not something that you just put on in the background, for a bit of white noise or distraction. Far from it. So. But yeah, because when you said about the live and the festivals, I mean, obviously the absence of live music is something that we've just all of us felt so keenly. And towards the before you were when you were winding down the gigs in 2019. Before planning to go into the studio, I know I'd seen I saw some of the last ones that you did, and just the difference or not so much of a difference because you were always amazing together, but they'd kept going up a level. Each gig that you did, it seemed to bring something else, and bring a bit more emotion, a bit more wow factor to it. And I imagine that you just can't wait to to get on the road again and start that. But how do you think this is going to pan out for 2021 and onwards?
Who knows? I mean, how the hell am I supposed to know when our government don't know? I am not a politician, although I'd probably be, even I'd be better. That's saying something, but I don't know how it's going to pan out. It will come back. This is just a pause. It's not. We're not deleting everything. And if venues close down, others will come up, and these spaces will be available. I don't care if I have to sing in car parks for the rest of my life, as long as I get to sing and people get to come. And yeah, and what bothers me is that I feel like we're keeping places of worship open, and I'm like, do you know where's a place of worship? Hammersmith Apollo.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Or
we go to worship, and that's my. And you know me as well as you've seen me at gigs as a fan, not just at my own. So you know how I feel about missing out on seeing my favourite bands and seeing artists that I love perform. I've really missed it, and I hope that after this, everyone goes absolutely mental. As soon as we've all got that jab, I hope I'm going to kiss and hug every person at that freaking merch desk. Everyone is getting a sweaty hug. I cannot wait. And yeah, just we have to remain positive. I'm fed up of seeing the negative stuff. I think it's very easy to allow yourself to get into that headspace. And after the kind of 2 years that I've had, I'm just can't do that now. I can't allow myself to feel that.
I mean, and as it stands today, the tour that you have, the UK tour that you've got planned for April and May, is still on. So if you'd have given the choice, if you could, do those gigs, but with social distancing and restrictions and all sorts of things, or wait until, as you say, we can get right back in, in the deep end and, bathe in the sweat of it all, what would be your preference?
My preference would be, I don't know. You just don't know. I can't. I want to perform ultimately. The reason why we haven't done anything online really as a group or done a specific Inglorious stream is because it's not matching up for me. I've watched a few of them. I'm really impressed at the effort these people have put through. But to me personally, I need people. I need to see people. I need to hear them shout. I need to whatever. I need to feel their drunkenness, and I'm not getting that on Zoom or on a stream. And when it glitches or when there's like a dodgy connection or the
Yeah.
sound quality isn't great. I want my eardrums to hurt and I want to feel the bass in my stomach. That's what I'm waiting for. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that day. I don't know how long that's going to be. If it happens in April or May, incredible. If it happens socially distant, incredible. Yeah, I don't want a perspex screen up though. I don't want to feel like I'm in a cage,
No.
like a zoo, like just.
No, that's right. And not like the Blues Brothers where we got to throw bottles at you or anything. You know, that's not what we want to encourage.
No.
Now we want you, hopping off the stage and making your circuit around with us.
I want to be able to take a drink of someone's drink, which is would be like the ultimate no at the moment, right? Like, I want to steal someone's pint and have a swig. I can't do that until we all get this jab. So yeah.
So yeah, roll on the jab. And of course, before all this happened, you'd then moved and settled. You'd gone away from the urban environment to the rural environment, in Devon. So, and is environment a really important thing for you? Do you get anything from the land, from the area that you are? Is that a massive influence?
Definitely. And just for my mental health, I think to wake up every day and know you've got to get up because there's 40, 50 animals that need you to feed them. Like, they rely on you. You are their number one thing. And that has kept me sane, I think, during lockdown. Also, my family, my family I'm actually in my parents' music room right now. My house is at the back. So having them near me has also kept me sane, kept me happy. And clean air. Like, writing these lyrics and looking at these views, I can't, obviously it's nighttime now, but in the day from this music room, which is where I write at this piano, the views just reach all the way over to Dartmoor. Wow. And we're pretty much on Exmoor, so it's an incredible place to write. I go to the beach a couple of times a week, walk the dogs. Like, I try and relax, because for the last few years of my life, well, since I've been going on tour since I was 16.
Yes. So
a long time. And I've never had a year in one place ever. So it's pretty wild actually to think that. I spent a whole year at home, everyone did, but I'm a real gypsy of a human being. I've traveled, I've lived all over the world, spent a lot of time with TSO in America, been everywhere.
Yeah.
And last year I went nowhere, and it felt really odd, but I couldn't think of a better place to be other than Devon.
That was amazing timing, the fact that you were in there and settled, when all this happened.
I feel bad for that. I really felt for people who didn't have that option, and people who lived in the cities and couldn't get out and enjoy their open spaces, because that would have sent me mad. I don't know what I would have done if I was in that situation.
But musically as well, you're not that isolated in Devon. The whole West Country has got this little posse that's really building up, on the rock scene as well. There's people like, yourself and, Chris Barras and, Josiah. There's absolutely loads of people in the West Country. I mean, do you think you might be causing a bit of a new scene in the way that metal obviously have the Black Country, and then prog had the Canterbury scene? You're going to go for the Devon West Country scene?
Maybe, or maybe we're just all going to get old and be in a Wurzel's tribute band or something. I don't know.
Wurzel's tribute band.
Listen, I love
put down the list.
I do love living in Devon. There's another band actually from around here. I can't remember if they're Devon. Well, obviously Muse come from
Muse,
Devon.
We've got King Creek in Cornwall.
Yeah, and then I think is there a band called the Fallen State, a young band?
Fallen State, there, yeah.
Are they Devon, or am I making that up?
I think you might be right. We'll have to look that up. But yeah.
It might not be them. Sorry if it's them.
Yeah.
There's a band very near me who are from down here. So there is quite a few of us. And there's lots of cool little festivals down here. There's Pig Stock, and there's
Big stuff.
yeah, I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's a great day out. I went to see Doctor and the Medics there, and yeah, so there's a few little local things, but to me, Steve Howe lives around the corner as well.
Amazing.
So like, it is quite a I suppose it's quite a cool place to live then, really. I won't be moving from here anytime soon, that's for sure.
Okay. Yeah, so you'll definitely have to start that scene up. We'll have to think of a snazzy name for it. I think. And of course, with the with the rest of the band, as well as the main album, that you've got. You've also managed to keep us going and lighten us up a bit, during lockdown with a couple of, fantastic, fun things. So the first one, of course, was the I Saw a Tiger, with you and Danny, which is, of course, Tiger King and lockdown are forever going to be connected. I mean, that was great fun. And then, of course, we had the amazing, with Dan, you metalled up Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas, and we had the amazing cameo from your new pup, Ozzy Pup of Darkness. So, I mean, they were such fun.
I should go and get him, really, shouldn't I? But he's wonderful. And yeah, that is just a bit of fun. I found myself being asked to do so many of these videos, and I'll be honest, the beginning of lockdown, my main focus was like not getting the virus. My father is kind of high risk. He's very asthmatic, and my grandmother lives with us, and she's 80, and she has MS. She's been ill for many, many years. So we as a family have really locked down, like not let anyone in. And I wasn't in a place to make those videos. I didn't feel like I wanted to do anything. I didn't know when I was going to sing again. Genuinely, and I still don't, you're telling a singer that they're not going to be able to sing in public. It's like, it's really hard. So yeah, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do all those videos. I just couldn't be bothered. Didn't want to think about singing. And then me and Danny became obsessed with Joe Exotic. Like, I'm not joking. Obsessed. So yeah, we had to do a little homage to that show. And again, the Netflix thing. Netflix has inspired so much on this album as well. So just things that I saw and I thought, wow, that's brilliant. I have to write about that. So yeah, and the Mariah Carey one. Everyone's so fed up of hearing that song, so it was nice to.
It really was.
Nice to make it sound a bit different for kind of our people.
Definitely. It's definitely brought a bit of sunlight into these dark days, that we've got. So, thank you for that.
No problem.
But great fun. Something else that was quite exciting that you announced just before Christmas is that you, with some of your Frontiers label mates, have got this amazing project going on, this supergroup with Michael Sweet, Tommy Aldridge, Joel Hoekstra and Marco Mendoza. That's like, whoa, that's a bit of a dream team. What can you tell us about this?
You've just said it and the hairs have gone up on my arm. I can't believe it. Like, it is, Frontiers have been trying to look for a kind of side project for me for a while. And this is very much a side project. It is going to be a band, but it's going to be something that everyone else is busy as well in that band, Like, two of them are in Whitesnake, favourite band of all time. So these are busy people. So we're looking forward to doing an album, seeing how it goes, maybe do another album, maybe do some dates. But when I got that phone call, and I held off signing until they'd confirmed the lineup, because I was like, if I'm going to be in a supergroup, I want to be the least super in the group. And I am. So there we go. I am without doubt the least super in the group, and I cannot believe I'm going to get to stand I'm going to get to be on an album with these guys, you know.
That's really mouth-watering stuff. And have you got any firm plans, you know, for that, about what, you know, what's it going to be like, when you're going to do any recording or anything?
The writing has begun, and I'll be doing the recording within the next couple of months, I think. And then Inglorious doing some more recording, which is kind of like big news. We go into the studio in February.
Oh wow! Wow.
Because,
are you going back to Long Wave to Romesh's, or?
No, we're actually keeping this in Devon.
Right.
So it's pretty cool. And it's something that we just thought, while we're not touring, we may as well try and bang some other stuff out. So we're going in to do, I'm not going to tell you exactly what, but we're going into the studio to do a project for release either later this year or early next year.
Fantastic. It's keeping you busy anyway. Keeps you but it's great, you know, more music, you know, more of the good stuff, you know, that's that's absolutely what we want. So apart from Netflix and the documentaries, have you discovered anything else over the last year or two that's influenced you? Anything new, anything notable?
The Masked Singer. I've decided I want to be famous enough. My goal in life now is to be famous enough to be on The Masked Singer.
That's not bad. That's
all I want. That's all I really want from life is for Davina McCall might to know me enough to be on The Masked Singer. If I do that, I'm going to be thrilled. I've really enjoyed that. I think TV over the last year, and music and all the arts has been so important for all of us. So, yeah, I suppose the one thing I've discovered is that Rishi Sunak is a total twat.
Yeah, it's.
I discovered that, and the people in the arts that I know and my theatre friends and stuff have just been absolutely shafted, and it's unforgivable.
It's really heartbreaking, isn't it? It really is.
Yeah, I've been really lucky with the kind of self-employment grants and stuff, but some of my friends aren't even eligible.
No,
you know?
No. There's a whole swathe of the freelancing and all of that as I say has been absolutely shafted. So the arts which keeps us going, which is essential to life. That plus hungry children, and it's just like, what a world! What a world we're living in.
And I'm not being political in saying this. I'm saying it from a human point of view. I think it's unbelievable that you can take so much art away from people. And over the last 12 months, people have been watching more movies and listening to more music and consuming so much more art than they probably ever have done. And yet we are the ones that are suffering, and they're the ones that are going without. And I find that really bizarre. Yeah.
But as I say, at least we've got the Masked Singer to they managed to do that.
I think we're 5 minutes late. I hope Sausage hasn't sung yet.
I hope not. I hope not. That would be amazing. What sort of costume do you think you'd have?
I think I'd love to be a lion, obviously. That
lion, yeah. You wouldn't give it away a bit. You wouldn't give it away.
Teddy bear. I'd love to be like a teddy, something really big and fluffy, and not, like me, really.
Because last season there was Justin Hawkins as Chameleon, and then we had Skin as the duck. And they were
so good.
It was amazing, wasn't it? It was that's not a bad ambition to have. Okay, well, as I said, we'd better wrap up then and go and see what's happening. Before we do, is there anything else that you'd like to tell us about or to say?
Just thank you to everyone who's stuck by us. Like we've had our trials and tribulations, like most bands. And to see the buzz and excitement for this new record just after 2 singles is amazing. It's so humbling. And yeah, I think this year people realise that there's way more important things going on than worrying what Nathan James has said on Twitter.
Yeah, definitely. But I think come the 12th of February then, and We Will Ride, when it's released in its entirety on Frontiers Records, and I think that both for your existing fan base and anybody new to it, I think that if they're going to be talking about anything, it's going to be talking about that this could well be your masterpiece. So it's very much something to look forward to. I mean,
I'm so proud of it, and give this a listen just for the boys in the band more so than me, because they've really bought it. They really stepped up to the mark and delivered on a level that I didn't even know was possible for this band. So yeah, I'm really honoured to be with them. Yeah. And I love them all. So yeah.
Yeah, knocked it out of the park, all of you. It's awesome.
Thank you. Cheers.
Right, well, yeah, thank you so much for joining us for this episode, Nathan, and hopefully we'll be keeping in touch during the year with all of this other exciting new stuff.
Yes, please do.
All right, see you.